Before we begin, let me tell you about once a Filipina princess in Brunei. Maria Elena Munji-Laurel, better known as Ayen Munji-Laurel, born November 21, 1971, is a Filipino actress and singer in the Philippines. Prince Jeffrey Bolkiah Ibni Omar Ali Saifuddin III, born November 6, 1954, is a member of the Bruneian royal family. His elder brother is the Sultan of Brunei. Prince Jeffrey was the finance minister of his oil-rich country. The Sultan was at one time the richest man in the world with current estimated assets of $1.5 billion. Welcome to a captivating life story of Ayen Munji-Laurel. Today we delve into the life of a Filipina who became a princess in Brunei, Princess Ayen of Brunei. Munji was previously married to Jefri Bolkiah, Prince of Brunei, from 1995 to 2002, and they have a son, Fairy Bolkiah. Once upon a time there was a young Filipina named Ayen Munji, whose lovely voice led her to sing in the plush clubs of Brunei. Her talent and fresh beauty easily made her a favorite among music aficionados and club-goers. Little did Ayen know that her most ardent admirer would be no less than Prince Jeffrey, younger brother to the Sultan of Brunei. Much less known to the young singer was that in 1995 she would become the fourth wife of the prince, establishing her as a certified princess. The prince was charming. Although he did not talk too much, he had a way of making her feel that she was the only one he was interested in. It was as though his whole world consisted of only you. He courted me for a year before I agreed to marry him. Being a Christian, I was very uncertain about how my life would be marrying a Muslim. The fact that he had other wives also did not sit well with me. The prince, however, was very reassuring, and he told me that although I had to convert to Islam, the conversion would be a mere formality and that I would be able to discreetly practice my Christian faith. Ayen quickly came face to face with the challenges that came with royal Brunei life. On many occasions, I had to wear a head cover called a tudong and defer to her husband in public. Palace protocol demanded that she dress for dinner every night. Learning their ways was not taught by having a teacher in front of you, she explains. It was more of having to be in that environment constantly. The environment would force you to act in a certain way. Once, when she had to meet the other members of the royal family, she was only given a few minutes of instructions on how to greet them. The first mistake I made was the typical crossing my legs habit, a big no-no with royal protocol. I unconsciously did this in front of the Sultan, and my husband's eyes would become alarmingly large, as he could not verbally warn me against doing this in front of his brother. I also was not allowed to speak to the Sultan's second wife unless spoken to, as she had a higher station than I did. But I did not know that, and being the friendly person that I am, I just kept on asking her questions. It is not natural for me to be stiff, and so going through all these social restrictions was such an effort for me. The presence of bodyguards and eating amidst the scrutiny of 6 servants was a rather difficult reality to get used to. However, the palace and its influence certainly had its perks. Brunei royal member can asked and served any food imaginable, be it a special baguette found in Paris or a type of beef found in Buenos Aires. Shopping was absolute paradise. During her frequent trips to London, New York, and Paris, she amassed clothes, shoes, and bags from Chanel, Christian Dior, La Croix, Gucci, and Prada. Ayen would go to a shop, make her selection, and move to the next boutique, as the secretary would stay behind to pay the bill. Regularly, Armani would send about 60 suits to the house for her to choose from. I had a British and a Filipina secretary, and they would think of things for me to do every day. They would see how lonely and bored I was. They would point out a great new restaurant that was in town. I would frequent Harrods to shop. Jewelry given to royal wives was huge and gaudy. If I wore them, I would look like a Christmas tree. My taste for jewelry is much simpler, much more discreet. Ayen never had to deal with the prince's wives, and for a while, the idea of sharing her husband with others was not an issue. Prince Jeffrey, after all, had consistently showed her that she was the only true love of his life. Boring and restrictive as her life was quickly proving to be during the 6 years of marriage, I found fulfillment in the production and performance of full-length musicals and dramatic productions in Brunei and Manila. I produced Once on This Island, Chorus Line, Grease, and Lives. An artist will always be an artist. In Ayen's case, The birth of her son instigated profound changes in the marital arrangement. Although she was not vocal about things, she began experiencing feelings of jealousy and insecurity right after giving birth to their son, Hassan. She went through deep postpartum depression and needed her husband to be there to support her through this very difficult time. He, on the other hand, could not understand what she was going through, nor did he extend the support that she needed. To make matters more difficult, the prince was experiencing his own crisis. Business problems crept in and threatened to affect the entire royal family. Whereas in the past, the couple would spend at least 12 hours together, the prince was now constantly leaving on trips spanning as much as 2 weeks. Eventually, his financial problems escalated to the point where the couple was forced to leave Brunei. During this time, Ayen chose to permanently live in New York. Prior to settling, they were living in London and Paris, so there was no sense of permanence. When we lived in New York, we started to grow apart. We would see each other 10 days in a month. The problem he was facing was taking a toll on him, and although there were brief moments where he would confide in me about it, generally, it was very hard for me to ask questions. I felt as though I was intruding on something that was really big. The last blow was the emergence of another love interest in his life. This discovery made the union ever so much more intolerable. Eventually, Ayen started longing for her homeland. She asked permission to visit the Philippines and while vacationing, came to realize that she was happiest amongst her friends and family. Eventually, when he realized that she truly wanted to be free, he did not give her a hard time. The divorce only took 4 months from the time it was petitioned. The decision to separate was not an easy one. Even after the divorce was finalized, Ayen could not say she no longer loved the prince, but the realization that she could not live under the unnatural conditions that she had previously found herself in steeled her resolve to seek what she considered to be a better, more peaceful life. Today, Ayen has moved on. She has married her best friend and fellow artist Franco Laurel. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the life and love of once a Princess Ayen and Prince Jeffrey Bolkiah. Subscribe for more love stories updates. Thanks for watching.